My name is Alvin. I am 99 years old and I have never exercised one day in my life. Never jogged, never lifted a weight, never set foot inside a gymnasium except one time in 1974 to watch my grandson play basketball, and he was terrible. Now, before you go getting a pencil, hold on a minute, because I am going to be straight with you right at the front. And what I tell you next is going to disappoint some people. I do not know why I am still here. I worked 41 years at a sawmill in Haywood County, North Carolina, alongside a couple hundred men who did the exact same work I did, ate the same food, drank out of the same water bucket. Most of them have been in the ground 50 years. Same work, same everything. So do not sit there and write down what I say like it is a recipe. It is not one. Anybody who tells you they know why they got to be 99 is selling you something. But you asked what I did instead, and I can tell you that. I remember every bit of it. I did not exercise because I never once in my whole life had a spare hour to spend pretending to work. That is not a joke. That is the honest answer. I was born in 1927. We were 4 miles from the schoolhouse, and there was no car, no bus. So I walked 8 miles a day from the time I was 6 years old. Nobody called that anything. It was not a health decision. It was how a boy got to school. We kept the garden because groceries cost money we did not have. Half an acre. I hoed it before school and my mother hoed it after. That was not wellness, that was supper. I went in the mill at 18, green oak wet off the saw. If you have never picked up green oak, you cannot imagine it. A man learns quick to lift with his legs, not because a poster told him to, but because the first time he does it wrong, he finds out. 10 hours, 6 days, 41 years. And here is the part I think about. In all that time, there was never 1 minute of my day where I sat down and then had to decide to get back up. Getting up was not a decision. It was just the next thing. That is the whole difference between my life and yours. And it is not willpower. It is the shape of the day. I got drafted in the spring of 1945, turned 18 in February. I want to be honest about this because people always assume. I fought the Second World War from a supply depot outside San Antonio, Texas, never left the country, never fired a shot at a living soul. I have never once let anybody believe otherwise, and I am not starting at 99. Married Ruby in 1949, 2 boys and a girl. We got a television in 1961, and I will tell you plain, that was the beginning of sitting down in this country. I do not say that as some kind of preacher. I just watched it happen from the inside of one house. Now let me tell you about Dewey. Dewey ran the edger next to me for 22 years, strong as a mule. Retired in 1988 with a decent pension, and the first thing that man bought himself was a recliner. He was dead in 4 years. Dewey did not die of anything. I want you to hear me. There was no disease. Dewey sat down. If any of this is reaching you, do me a kindness and press the like button, and subscribe if you would care to sit with me again. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from, the town, the state, whatever country you are in. At 99, it does something for a man to know his words got out of this house. Now I have to tell you the ugly part, because otherwise I am standing here acting like I am better than Dewey. I am not. Ruby died in the spring of 2011, 62 years married, and I did the same thing he did. I sat down. I want you to understand what I mean. I sat down in the front room in October, and I was more or less still sitting there in June. I was 84 years old. I quit cooking, ate crackers, lost about 30 pounds, and did not particularly notice. That was not grief exactly. I do not know what to call it. The days quit having a shape, and I let them. What got me up was my granddaughter Tessa, and she did it by lying to me. She came by in July and said she had to go out of state for 2 weeks, and could I keep her dog, little rough-looking thing named Roscoe. She said 2 weeks. She never came back for him. She had never intended to. That whole thing was arranged, and I did not figure it out for about 5 months. But here is what a dog does. A dog does not care that your wife is dead. A dog has to go out at 6 in the morning, whether you want to live or not. So I got up at 6, because he had to go out. And then, since I was up, I would put the coffee on. And then, since the coffee was on, I might as well eat something. And then we would walk down to the end of the road, because he pulled that direction, and I did not have the strength to argue with the dog. That was not exercise either. I want to be clear. That was a man being bossed around by a 14-pound animal, and it saved my life. Roscoe died in 2019, and I cried harder than I care to admit to you. I went and got another one. And when that one passed, I went back again, and they would not give me a puppy. 97 years old, they would not do it. So they gave me an 11-year-old beagle named Dot with a bad hip. And I will tell you what, her and I are in a race, and I do not know who is going to win. She still has to go out at 6. Now I want to say 2 things, and then I will let you be. The first one, I am not telling you to quit the gym. If the gym is what makes you move, then God bless it. Go on. I have got nothing bad to say about it. But I will tell you the difference, and it is not the sweating. Everything I ever did with my body, I did because something on the other side of it needed doing. There was a row to hoe, or a board to stack, or a dog at the door. I never once moved for the sake of moving. And I think a body knows the difference, though I could not prove that to you, and I am not going to try. The second one is the one that actually matters, and it has got nothing to do with your legs. Something has to need you at 6 in the morning, not want you, need you. Something that will suffer if you stay in that bed. Because I promise you, on the mornings that count, wanting to live is not enough. It is not. I have been there, and it was not enough, and it was a dog that got me, and not my own good sense. So find the thing. I do not care what it is. A garden, a dog, a person who has got nobody else, a boy down the street who needs somebody to teach him something. Get yourself hooked into the world in a way you cannot easily get out of. Dewey had a pension and a recliner and nothing on this earth that needed him. That is what killed that man, and it was not his heart. If you have stayed with me this whole way, then you and I would have got along fine. Press that like button and go on and subscribe, because there will be more of these. And tell me in the comments where you are watching from. And tell me one more thing while you are there. Tell me what needs you in the morning. I would truly like to read those. I read every one of them. This has been Alvin, 99 years old, 41 years in the mill, never lifted a weight,
and there is an old beagle by the door who says it is time to go out. Goodbye now.